Pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll say his name then?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. Before we get started this evening, we need to take a brief executive session to discuss personnel issues about the cleaning of the town hall.
So moved.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 10 minutes. Get that.
By going to the zoning board or planning board.
Thank you.
Right on the dot.
That's why I thought
10
it was
minutes.
great to start coming.
Motion to come out of
So you learn that.
executive session?
Second?
There's,
All in favor? Opposed?
was that
Chris and
Chris and, sorry, still talking. 7:10.
Okay, let's get started with our approval of prior town board meeting minutes. We have our organizational and normal town board meeting minutes on the 7th. Any questions, comments
Move to approve. Both.
On both?
on both? All in favor?
Chris was it? Oh, Evan? Okay.
Opposed? Carried. And we also have our January 19th policy review meeting.
Move to approve.
Second. Evan and Chris?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the clerk report, Mary, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. Community house lease, $1,000. Dog licenses, $12.50. Town clerk fees for solid waste bags, $1.50. Recycle permits, $15. Vital statistics, $100. Community house donations, $100. St. Luke's donations, $200. So the total check for the general fund is $1,429. Trust and agency for Parkland Reserve for an accessory apartment, $400. Total trust and agency, $400. Paid to New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, $5. Paid to Columbia County Solid Waste, $108.50. Total for the month of January, $1,942.50.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
You have to accept your report, we don't
Yeah, you
approve it.
can't, yeah, I know you're not approving.
Move to accept.
We don't do any motions. All right, what do we have for mail?
Not a lot, but we do have the rabies clinic information from the Columbia County Department of Health. It's free, but they do accept donations. They ask that for the safety of all attendees, all dogs must be on a leash. Cats and ferrets must be in carriers. Breeders must use their own veterinarian for rabies vaccinations. So it has quite a list starting March 9th for a lot of the towns in the county. I have put it on the website, I have it posted on the board, and I do have copies, if anybody wants to take a copy. So they'll know when they are. But, you know, they're in Ankrum, Germantown, Greenport, Ghent, New Lebanon, Claverick, Kinderhook, right through to November. So there's quite a few. And it saves you money.
When
A lot of money.
when is the Germantown one?
Germantown is April 13th.
April 13th, okay, that's the closest,
Cats
obviously.
and ferrets, 10 to 11, and dogs, 11 to 12, and it's Palatine Park Road. Dr. Tucker is the vet.
Thank you.
Okay. And then the only other thing is, if they're still looking for this, we get it so early. They're looking for the Office for the Aging nominees for individuals for Seniors of the Year. Looking for nominees of individuals who have gone out of their way to volunteer and provide assistance to the seniors residing within Columbia County. So I have forms if anyone knows or has anyone they'd like to nominate. And I'm sure you can probably also call, if you have any questions, call the Office for the Aging. So that's another thing, if you need a copy, I have them. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Correspondence for Web Committee. Does anybody have any comments, questions, complaints? That's a good thing. All right. We'll move on to our committee reports. Bob?
Yeah, I just want to thank Chris for looking up about the POW flag and looking at the three options. after a little bit of independent discussion, well, I think we probably should order the better one.
Yeah,
For that amount.
that's my recommendation, based on the description and how it indicates, it, it's holds up to the sunlight, and
Yeah,
military grade is what they indicate. It's a 3x5, which I think is going to be a little smaller than the actual flag, which is, I think, fairly appropriate.
That's common, that's common though.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I think it was, what, $55?
yes.
That's my recommendation.
We'll go ahead and move it, we can move it right now if you want to take,
I moved to buy that POW flag at $55.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And it probably won't get put up till spring when they put the flagpole up. Flagpole we have, I think, already, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, it was donated.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
I did.
Chris seconded, thank you.
Wait, can I ask you a question about that?
Go ahead.
I'm afraid I'll forget, sorry for the name. Do we have POWs from Clermont, or is this a general?
This is to complement the monument, the Veterans Monument that we put up on the hill. Have you seen that?
No, I
When the
haven't.
snow gets out, go up and take a look at it. That's something you had talked about many
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, I'm glad to.
We put up a generic monument. It was not a one listing all the names, but it's a nice monument, and it's sitting up on top of the hill. And we have a flagpole donated by the Clementis, one of your neighbors. And the flagpole is it. It'll get put up in the spring, and we're gonna fly a flag up there, and we'll put a POW flag with it. To answer your actual question, I don't know. You know, right?
I don't know the answer.
But it's.
Well, I'm very happy to hear this either way, but I didn't know if there was a specific commemoration.
Yeah, we've talked about that monument for many years, and
Oh,
it finally
I
got put up, what, a couple months ago, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
It's a granite stone monument with a, thank you to veterans. All gave some gave all. And there's a couple of little silhouettes down there, one of Iwo Jima, another one with a kneeling soldier by the bayonet stuck in the ground of, from a fallen soldier. To decorate a little bit. And we want to put a flagpole up there and fly the flag on top of the hill. And, I did discover recently also that, that there's a lot of names up on the second floor of the community building for most of the wars. That there's a plaque over there, that building actually, many years ago, was actually donated, or not donated, but dedicated to veterans also. So I don't think too many people actually realize that. I didn't until just recently when I was looking at the plaques over there. But I think it's a nice monument up there. We want to do some landscaping around it. We've talked about planting poppies, on the walkway up to it. Some people say they come up every year, some say they don't. I'm not sure, but we'd like to, plant. So there are some that I think are a little off color from the red that we see that apparently do come up every year, so we may do a little mixture of that and see what happens. I'd like also to put a couple of laurel bushes. Laurel is something they make wreaths for heroes. And I was told that the deer like them, but where I grew up in Connecticut, we had a lot of mountain laurel on the property. My half-brother owns the house and property now, and I talked to him about it. He said the deer don't touch it. And he looked up, Googled it, and it says that mountain laurel, the real wild mountain laurel, is deer resistant. So I'm going to see if we, in the spring or early summer, try to get a couple of plants and put them up there. We'll see if the deer eat them. They do. If they don't, good.
We actually have a committee that's formed that's actually looking at all the different plantings and stuff like that, trying to give us some ideas and insight. So yeah, that's we're coming along, finally.
Yeah, while we're on that, we've also talked about walking trails, and the highway department's been mowing trails for us that are kind of like walking trails. But we expect from when the committee makes recommendations that eventually we'll have some plantings and different things, maybe a interpretive nature trail with different trees labeled, or maybe some other types of flowers and things, but just kind of a nice walking trail through the back half of the property, the park. So, welcome back. It's been some things going on while you've been out of town. And just one other thing, a couple of recent storms, just again, we say this all the time, but I'd like to commend the highway department again. They worked hard, they worked many hours in the last couple of storms, through the night and early mornings. As I know you did too.
All right. Yeah, long days. All right, thank you, Bob. Evan, how are we making out with that?
Yeah,
website?
we have had some discussion via email, moving forward with the website, getting the last details finished. And we had a meeting with Mary this past Saturday to kind of go over the website, what's needed to post announcements, things of that nature. And we'll have probably another education session or two just to make sure that we have everything laid out and it's all familiar and straightforward.
Good.
So I don't have a cutover date yet, but it may be March or April timeframe.
Okay. Well, people must be happy because they're not yelling or screaming anymore, so they must be happy with your advancement on this.
I guess so. We'll see once it goes live.
All right.
But I think it'll be a good improvement.
Good. No, from what I saw, it looks great, so that's good. We appreciate all the help from you and the volunteers as well, so thank you. All right. Chris, you got anything?
No, just the flag, and just to add to the description that Bob already spoke about, the flag is double-sided, so that's an added plus for the better flag as well. That's it.
Good. Excellent. All right, thank you. Dawn?
I submitted a grant for $2,500 to the Bank of Greene County Charitable Foundation, and the grant was to help towards the funding of the landscaping of the entrance to Hetling Park. I know the budget that I received from Amy did not receive this, include the sign or the trees, that those could be done at a later date. I think the budget was between $7,000 and $8,000, and I applied for $2,500.
2,500?
Yes, it's usually, trying to think, it's at least a couple of months. I know that the deadline to apply is January 15th, and it's usually like April 15th or something like that we find out, and then the money is usually awarded during the summer. So we have a little bit of time before we hear.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, old business. I got quite a few things to update on. First thing, the insurance claim from the hail damage. I mentioned this last couple months. We did find additional damage to the back roof on the storage building. I met with the adjuster. He came out. He certainly agreed that there was substantial damage to that roof as well, so he did put into our insurance company for the reimbursement. I did get back notification. They accepted the claim, and we'll be receiving another check for $13,495 for the additional damage to the back roof, which is actually more than enough to cover our estimate that we had to replace that roof. It's kind of different, I would have to say, working with this insurance company, because very rarely do they look for more things to pay you for. When we were standing there, he looked at couple other things, and he says, well, what about this, what about that? I says, yeah, sure. I says, if you want to include the window on the back shed and the roofing on the barbecue pit, and they put in for it, and they reimburse us for it. So we actually have more money than we put in for. It's been a pleasure working with this insurance company, and just reassures us when we go to renew with the same company every year. Neimer has been nothing but, as far as I'm concerned, one of the better companies to deal with, so very impressed. Neimer Insurance.
New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal.
Something.
It's a product of the Association of Towns.
Yeah. And we've been with them for as long as I've been here. I don't know, before that, obviously, so at least 11, 12 years at a minimum. And they, like I said, they've been very good with us, so I can't complain. That check is on the way, so we will be receiving that, and we'll schedule that work along with the rest of this work in the spring to get replaced, so very happy with them.
Good share of the towns and counties in the state use them. And the former supervisor in Red Hook had a lot to do with setting that up years ago.
Okay. The bus route. We talked about a little bit last month. We had an individual ask about the Columbia County bus route. I did actually get the information together. To tell you the truth, it's probably very much easier for everybody to go on the Columbia County Transportation website, Columbia County, New York, and pull it up. But I was mistaken. They did not actually put the bus route coming to Clermont. There is one that runs to Germantown, 1 day a week, which is on Tuesdays. They leave Hudson, they come down to Palatine Park, or Palatine Manor in Germantown to the home, but anybody is welcome to use this bus if they'd like to pay, the rider fee. You can meet there, they'll take you to Hudson, to the shopping areas, and then they bring you back at 12:45. So it's 8:30, they pick you up in Germantown, they take you to Hudson, they bring you back by 12:45.
And what's the fee?
That I'd have to, I didn't pull that up. I believe you could find that on the website. It's a couple dollars, it's minimal. So they do this throughout the county. Every day they run to different areas, and there is, again, I have the whole schedule here, but it's, like I said, it's very easy, much easier to go on the website and look at it. But they do have runs that go to Albany every day from Hudson. They actually have runs that pick people up at Hudson, take them up to Greenport to go shopping and back to Hudson. They have a run that goes to Philmont. They do have one that goes to Copake. Again, they split them up there in different days. But again, there's a whole schedule of that if anybody's interested. But they do not.
Ridership figures?
The ridership figures I do not have. I know they were $1 for the longest time. I think they bumped them to either $1.50 or $2.
I mean, the number of people
Oh,
that use it.
that I don't have. No, I'm not on the transportation committee, but I could get that information if you're really interested in it, or possibly it's on the website. I'm not sure on that. But it is available if somebody would like to catch it in Germantown on Tuesdays only,
At 8:30 in the morning?
at 8:30 in the morning.
And they drop off at 12:45?
And they drop you up at 12:45. Yes.
We get an hour and a half to shop or something?
I guess if you had some business you had to take care of, you could get it done. Okay, workplace violence policy. We just reviewed the policies this past month when we met. Our discussion when we talked about the workplace violence and the sexual harassment policy, this is a policy that has been recently changed and renewed. I'm going to say upgraded, but they changed the policy on this in the county. I asked them to review our policies and let us know what we had to do, because we updated ours not that long ago. It says, please tell me what ours is missing, so we don't have to just accept our policy, because we went through that. We had a whole couple meetings. I just want to know, what do we need to add to our policy that's missing? So I asked them to compare it and give us what was missing. They've done that. They actually put the information in my box. I have not been to the county to receive that information yet. So what I'll do is when I get that, I'll compare the two, and then we'll have to talk about integrating it into ours, so we come up with a policy that's acceptable. And then they do offer the training. The county employee and human resources will come down. We're gonna have to set probably 1, 2, 3 different dates, maybe a nighttime, a weekend, because anybody that receives a paycheck from the town of Clermont has to be trained. Doesn't matter if you get a check for 1 hour or whatever it is. If you get any kind of check from the town, you have to sit through this training, which takes about 45 minutes. So they charge $50 per hour. So they said it's usually a $50 charge to come down, plus mileage for them to come down and teach the class. So again, we'll have to figure out what's missing, upgrade it, update our policy, and then we'll have to pick some dates, and we're gonna wait till spring because, nobody wants to try and do it this time of year. But set some dates where we can, give 2 or 3 different options, but every single person has to at least make one of those meetings. So,
That's something that you can have your own people trained to do?
supposedly you could have your attorney or somebody from NYMER train somebody in-house, which is a more extensive training for you to be, then you could be the extra instructor. So if I wanted to get trained, they could possibly train me, and then I could train anybody in the town. But
Something's gonna have to be done every year, right?
every year, this has to be done. Well, for now, I mean, until it changes again, but for now, it's gonna be every year,
So
so
this would mean all board members, planning board, ZBA would have to take this course.
everybody. Yep. Code enforcement, assessor, Mary, anybody, yes. Cleaner, I mean, every single person that gets a check. So it is something we could look into, see how much is involved to get an in-house training, so we can make it easier.
Their fee is regardless of how many people you have?
Correct.
Is there an online option where you can?
I
know
don't-
there are so many different options as far as online training that carry, and I'm sure Evan is aware of it too, where they carry you from, start to finish, and you really can't kind of fake it out. You actually have to go through everything.
I'm gonna say no, because that wasn't put out there as an option, and if it was, I'm sure they would have gave that as an option. Because you have to sign off on the paperwork, and they have to take it, and they have to witness it, and they have to file it, and whoever does the instructions. So I'm gonna say, I don't know that, I could find that out, but I'm thinking it wasn't put out as an option, so I'm saying probably not.
Okay.
The one that might do that is NYMER, and it might not just be available right now. It might be something they do further down the line.
Yeah,
It could be,
just got passed, this past fall, so
It just got
they might
passed.
be developing it.
and we have until September to be in compliance, so like I said, I'm not in any rush to jump through hoops of this, but we need to do it before,
No, it's not real expensive, but if you have them come multiple times, it adds up. I'm wondering if Germantown and/or Livingston are gonna be doing the same thing, maybe coordinating the three towns and what the dates are. They pay for a couple, we pay for a couple, and people can go to whatever one they want.
Possible.
Does that make sense? or-
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I think the easiest thing would be to probably get an in-house training. That way, it's easier to get everybody together or whatever. We have, if somebody can do it, and then it's done. I will look into that though and find out to see if that's a viable solution. But I'll let you know as soon as I get that information. I'll have that for next month.
The question that may come up is whoever comes down to actually do the training, they may have a maximum number of people that they train at the same time.
Don't think so, because they did the full board last time. They did anybody that was, I think they can do as many as you can fit in a room.
Okay.
So,
That'd be
I mean, you
great.
basically just have to sit there and listen.
Yeah.
And sign off the paperwork. But yeah, I'll let you know, as soon as I get the other policies, we compare them, and we'll figure out what we have to do, and I'll have more information on that going forward. All right, the highway policy, we reviewed the highway policy. We agreed at our meeting to make one change to the policy. As we do every year, we review all the policies. The highway policy, it came to our attention that it was brought up as a request that we consider the sick days that the employees, the highway department, are allowed to accumulate. And this was brought to our attention because there's been a couple instances in other towns where there's been some prolonged illnesses where employees were out for 30, 35, 40 days, 2 months, I don't know. But our employees now, which was really only two highway guys, are allowed to accumulate 30 days of sick time. They're not allowed to use any more than 2 to 3 days, I think, without a doctor's note in a row. But they're allowed to carry 30 days from year to year without losing them. And then anything over that, we've updated the policy that we would reimburse them for $75 per day if they were to accumulate more than that. They are at their maximum, but with some of these other cases that are going on around the county, our employees asked us to consider upping that to give them a little more cushion in case somebody really did get sick, very sick, or have a serious illness and be out of work. So they asked us to consider moving up to 60 days of sick time, which basically just allows them to carry more of an insurance policy if they get injured. We talked about this quite a while at our policy update meeting, and we did go ahead and agree that we didn't have a problem with that. It's not going to really affect us other than giving them that cushion. And we approved that they would be moved to a 60-day accumulation of what they could carry as sick days from year to year. So just to give everybody an update on that, that's the only change we made to the highway policy. Last thing to update, the Devereaux, we talked about this a little bit last month too. Devereaux is proposing another house, another home in Clermont. We decided that we were going to challenge this because again, this will be the 6th house going in in Clermont that is taken off the tax rolls and obviously is a burden to the taxpayers and to the volunteer services. We requested a meeting, we challenged it, requested a meeting with the commissioner. They did agree, the commissioner did agree, which they have to have a hearing to hear our side of the story. It's basically, unfortunately, I'm going to say, it's basically a losing battle. You know, there's a lot of laws that protect the homes and these companies to do basically what they want, but we're going to make another solid argument that, you know, surrounding towns, Germantown has one, Gallatin doesn't have any, Livingston I think has one or two. Why is Clermont being
Saturated.
that's a good word, saturated with homes that, you know, we're such a small community, we have a very small tax base, why do we have so many compared to all these other towns that are right in the vicinity, a mile away in some directions? So they had set the hearing for February 20th. The attorney, our attorney, Andy Howard, will be attending. I requested that I at least be attending that meeting as well. There's no need for the board to go because they're not going to listen, you know, they're not going to hear the whole board. It's basically a sit down with the commissioner, the attorney, and hopefully I'll have a chance to speak a little bit. But we're going to do our best to argue the fact that, you know, please give us a break, you know, look at, you know, a mile in either direction, give us some thought. So it is set for February 20th. I should have an update next month. I don't know if we'll have a ruling by then. Probably won't take long. We probably will. But we're at least going to try to at least have them consider, you know, moving forward that they try to look somewhere else. So, other than that, that's all I have for old business. New business. We have a couple appointments to make. First thing, we held interviews also on our policy update meeting for zoning board. We have a vacancy to fill in the zoning board. We also have alternate positions as well. So we held interviews, interviewed three people on our policy meeting updates, our meeting. And we have come to a conclusion that we'd like to make the appointment to the zoning board. Bobby, want to tell me?
Move that we appoint Phyllis Heiko to fill the unexpired term of Peter Cicchetti, who resigned effective at the end of 2018.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We also have two alternates since Phyllis was our alternate, or we have a vacancy in the alternate positions, so we have alternates also for planning and zoning. So the planning board alternate position, I'd like to appoint Cody Rockefeller.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And the zoning board alternate position, we agreed to appoint Ben Peacock.
Second.
So moved.
Bob, and then I.
Second.
Bob and Dawn?
She seconded it and then I moved it.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Stepping on each other.
Carried. I'd like to thank those who came out for the interviews. We did publicize this. We had 5, 6 people interested, but only 3 made it for the interviews. And but we certainly appreciate anybody that gets involved to help out the town.
And Mary, did you look up how much was left on Peter's term?
I did, you know, but I don't recall.
Goes-
Oh, wait a minute, I may have it. I did, but I just don't remember.
Put it on the spot.
Yeah, I know. I know. Should have asked me, I would have had it ready. Let's see, this one will tell me. All right. His term was to go through December 31st, 2020.
2020.
That's when it was to go
2020.
through.
So it's basically
Next
2
year.
years.
Basically, 2 years,
Okay.
shy a month.
All right. Last appointment. We have an appointment for the cleaning service. I'd like to recommend the appointment of Barbara Riffenberg for the cleaning service of the town hall.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'd just like to say, I want to thank our previous cleaner, which was Pat Van Wagner. She's been helping us out for,
Many years.
I don't know how many years before I was here again, so it's at least 11, 12 years. I just want to thank you very much for her dedicated service for a long time, and we certainly appreciate everything she's done for us. So, thank you. Last thing on here I didn't have down, I just wanted to update fourth quarter sales tax check. I did not receive yet, but I did receive the email on the amount we're receiving, which was a pleasant surprise. The fourth quarter sales tax check will be coming probably in the next week or two in the amount of $105,642. That's quite a bit more than anticipated. If you've read all the articles, Columbia County for some reason is just shining in the map of sales tax. Over 8% increase over last year, which last year we had, 6 or 7% over the year before. We're doing phenomenal on sales tax in Columbia County. A lot of it they're, I guess they're calling for tourism. I guess, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, it's, you used to say, oh, must have sold an airplane or something, but it really is. It's got to be tourism dollars really driving the sales tax economy, and it's, the economy's doing fairly well, and we're benefiting from it. That's over $10,000 increase from last year's sales tax that we received in this check. So, that certainly will help us moving forward with our revenues and our budget. So, I say it every time, I'll say it again, please shop local if possible, because it does help the county and the towns. Okay, other than that, supervisor's report, a couple things to update on. Bingham's Mill Bridge, I haven't heard that in a while. Mary. Last year, it was voted upon to take the bridge down. It was supposed to come down in the fall. The bridge is in very bad shape. The supports on it are very poor. They agreed, we voted, it would be coming down. There was a holdup with the right-of-ways for the power company. They need to get a right-of-way to move the power lines in order to get a crane in there to take the structure down. So they're working on that now, and they're assuring me that they'll have that done and they'll have it ready to go in the spring, that it is going to be taken down. I've made the argument several times about replacing it, fixing it, and there's no, I can get no traction on my feet with anybody to jump on board with this. So unfortunately, they just have no interest in replacing this bridge, and it will be taken down again this summer. So
And once it's taken down and gone, then the cost to replace it will be less. And we
That's true.
If we get different people in there, maybe.
because in order to replace it, it has to come down anyway. So just because it's coming down doesn't mean it's never going back, but we all kind of know the answer to that. So hold your breath. Recycling. The recycling permits is something we talked about a few months back, where the county was going to put in a fee for recycling. And I just wanted to let everybody know that the county has actually sold more than anticipated very quickly in the amount of the permits that were sold. It's something that obviously many people still support, and I think if you read other articles going around, other counties all over the place are probably considering, or if not, are in the process of doing the same thing. I know our solid waste department had several calls from other counties asking, how did you figure this out? What did you guys come up with? We're looking to do the same thing, because it's such a phenomenal amount for any county to absorb. I think you're going to see, more and more of it coming, and we were one of the leaders to do it. And it wasn't the most popular decision, and there was a lot of mixed feelings over it, but I think it was a necessary thing that had to be done to help spread the cost out to everybody and the users, rather than just the taxpayers that don't use the services. So it is, it's a nominal fee. It's $35 if you're a senior and $50 if you're not, but a year. And I think, it's just, it helps to offset the costs, and any surplus that we would have leftover will go to help offset the solid waste department's budget, which will still save taxpayer dollars. So it's really a good thing. It's a win-win. So, I can't say it, I'm happy that it's working out.
Paper said that there was 120,000 so far, dollars.
It's been updated since then. I think we have newer numbers on that, but yeah.
The last week or two, the paper had said that. That didn't seem like, I thought it would have been higher.
Yeah, no, I think we're well over 200, actually, so.
I've never had to pay a fee to recycle. When did you?
That went in effect January 1st.
Yeah.
Yep, recycling fees.
I have not seen people checking for the stickers either. I got a sticker in my car.
You're supposed to. You can buy them from Mary. She has the stickers. You buy a sticker, you put it on your car, you can recycle as much as you want, but it is a one-time fee for the year, $50. If you're a senior, it's $35. If you're out of state or out of county resident,
$100.
it's $100. So, but,
Some people put them on their windshield. I was told recently that that's against the state law. The only thing can go on your windshield is your registration and inspection stickers. So I
You
put mine
could put
in
it
the
on the
back.
dashboard though, and then take it off. I wouldn't leave it in the window anyway, you know, if somebody take it.
a lot of people just put them on the side window.
Yeah,
Well, it's a
or stick
it's
it on a
stick-on.
window.
It's a stick-on, yeah.
Right.
Stick it on the side.
But if you want to put it in the front, you know, on the window.
So if you go to the transfer station, you're gonna need a recycling, unless you put it in the regular
No, I
garbage.
did. They
No?
didn't make me give. Nobody.
I'll take that up with them. Thank you for letting me know. Germantown or Livingston?
Yes.
Germantown?
Germantown.
All right, we'll make sure we know that.
I've been
Come in
involved
and get one.
since both Livingston and Germantown.
Next time they might check.
I thought this was the transfer station in Hudson.
This is for any transfer
Any
station.
of them.
Any
Even the
transfer.
one in Germantown.
Correct. Yes, they're supposed to be enforcing that.
It's Columbia County.
Yes.
I've been in both Livingston and Germantown since the 1st of January and didn't see anybody really checking. I
Okay,
did say
Livingston,
that, in Livingston, I did say to Albert when he came out, I said, oh, I got my sticker, you know, and he said, yeah, he said, I saw it, so I don't know if he saw it or, he didn't.
Well, I'll bring that question up on how they're enforcing it, but without.
Does anybody
finding
need a
out.
box?
A box.
Very large box?
For recycling?
All right, the last thing I want to update people on is something that's been talked about in county, it's been under works for the past year. They call it the North Bay Project. It's in Hudson. We have a large landfill down by the river that's it's been capped, and we received grant funding to take a look at turning this into a park. And I know there's been some push for this, any recreational park, any trails. There's been a lot of interest in lately, but I've been against this from the start. And it's something that's finally coming up to probably a vote in the next month or two. I personally have a problem with the county owning a landfill that's been capped, that we have to maintain forevermore. We have to protect the cap. And now you're going to make a park and create volume of traffic, recreational use, trails, dogs playing, digging in a cap that we have to maintain and we have to, keep up to New York State code. So I voted against this on every place I could from the start, but everybody's been going along with it because it's been grant funded. Let's take a look and see what's needed. Hudson will take it over, or somebody will take it over, a trail company. And we're getting down to the wire where nobody wants to take responsibility of this because it is a never-ending money pit. It's a cap, it's a landfill. There's always going to be work that needs to be done to maintain this cap. So we've even offered to give it to the city of Hudson for $1. Please take it. You want to do whatever you want, make a park out of it, but you take responsibility, and they're not willing to sign off on it. So actually next month at our meeting, if it comes to a vote, I'm certainly going to vote against it again, but the county, from what I can understand, most of the supervisors are not willing to take this burden on either, but I'd like to see us either give them a deadline, you take it over, you take responsibility, or look at putting solar panels on this landfill. Solar panels are very commonly put on landfills, on bases that sit on top. You put a fence around it, you restrict the area, you don't have people on it, you don't have damage to your cap, and you can actually offset taxpayer dollars because it'll make money for the entire county. So that's something I'm going to be pushing. I'm going to push it to a vote if I have to, but I just can't sign off on. I'm not against. Obviously, I'm for parks. I love parks.
Well, what is the footprint, Ray? As far as the square footage or acreage?
I don't have that. We have the whole that. It's a pretty big chunk of area, and it links up. You can link up along to another park trail, but it's really tough terrain, and a lot of work would have to be done. And again, the county is not funding this. So
Now, I'm just thinking for solar panels, if it's a significant enough piece.
it's fairly large. Yeah, it would be a significant amount of solar. I don't know what we could fit. And I actually asked the chair of the Public Works to actually invite a solar company in to give us some specs on it, give us an idea what they can do.
Are there power lines?
Yes, it's
Close by then?
three-phase power right next to it, so we could easily hook up to it. It's one of the ones that was been identified in the county very easily to hook up to
Right.
solar. So, it is something that I'm going to be pushing for, because I just cannot see the county taking responsibility to invite people on an area that we have to maintain.
You
It
want a
just-
park, call it a solar park.
Solar park. It's gonna be a lot of pushback from Hudson, I can tell you that,
Yeah, but that
but,
could be surrounded by trees and a fence, so no one will go in there.
right.
So if you do it correctly, it will not be seen by you or I walking around Hudson.
It's not visible from what.
It's down it's down off in the back. I mean, it really is in a secluded area, so I mean, it really is, it's a great spot for solar, I gotta tell you. So,
It's off Jocelyn Boulevard, isn't it? Back in there,
it's down by the old factory.
behind Fireman's Home, down in behind there, I think.
You
I
gotta go look
remember.
for it.
Yeah,
Is that where it is?
You gotta go looking for it.
Yeah, it's,
It's not,
so just to give everybody an update, that's where that is, and again, I know the county is not going to be willing to fund anything to do with this, but we're trying to get rid of the obligation. If somebody else will not take it over, we're not gonna allow people to go on there and destroy it. But solar would be a great option, I think, and I certainly am gonna push for that. So, just to give everybody a quick update, if you see anything in the paper in the next month. Other than that, I think that's about all I had for tonight. Again, I'd like to echo Bob's feelings with the highway department. Again, they do a great job and, put in a lot of long hours, and I can't thank them enough for everything they do for us, and they certainly keep it nice and clean and tidy around here, so it helps us out a lot, so, and keeps everybody safe. Other than that, I guess that's it. I'll move on to motion to pay abstracts.
I'll make a motion that we pay trust and agency. Number 1, vouchers. So 1 and 2, or 1 and 3, 1, 2, and 3. 1 through 3, in the amount of $374.18.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to pay highway abstract number 2, vouchers number 5 through 12, in the amount of $5,082.65.
Second.
85.
85 cents. Sorry about that.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move we pay general prepaid abstract number 2, vouchers 20 through 22, in a total of $298.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to pay general abstract number 2A, vouchers number 23 through 55 in the amount of $7,248.51.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, concludes the abstracts. So we have public comment, communications to the board. Phyllis, would you please stand up for us?
I worked out today, I don't think I.
We gotta get you on the TV.
Well, I'd just like to thank the board for appointing me to the ZBA, and I will take up that problem that you talked about with the zoning that was mentioned in the interview.
I don't remember it, but you can remind me.
Well, then I'll just look at the next person who can remember it. We have a problem with the board. So I just wanted to thank the board.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Chris?
I found it very interesting, really. I had no idea that this is what you do. And just to sit here and listen to this, I feel like I'm sitting back at IBM again. The dollars may be a little bit different, but it's the same type of decision-making for long-term success. So I'm very, very, very pleased to come.
Thanks for joining us. Anytime.